Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 300 of a year of change. Day 300. I see that little fireworks from me going off and I don't have any copyright to cool songs to use. So we're just going to do that. That's pretty much it. 300 days down. I have been trying to figure out what I'm going to do throughout this entire week. I wanted to do something to sort of acknowledge the fact that we've gone so far and we've done so much in 300 days. But as it's been approaching, I've been sort of entertaining a few things here and there. Like, well, do I do body shots? Do I finally show that? Do I try something completely different? Do I try to wear a funny hat, which has been suggested, which is not going to happen? A whole bunch of stuff that I've been trying to figure out, should I be doing something? And I think the reason why I haven't is because when I'm looking at this, it's the dynamic of it has changed. Like, number one, we'll talk about the body shot thing. I have a picture of me when I was around 315. I didn't do one, I think, when I was at my heaviest. It's around 320, 315, but it's close enough to 325. I also have one when I hit my halfway point. I'm not going to show those because it's gross and no one wants to see it, and it would be fucking embarrassing for me to show anybody. I'm going to wait for a little while. So, I'm to the halfway point. I want to lose I want to get down to the 100-pound mark by the end of the series. That's my new goal. But, so, sorry for those of you out there that are going, oh, we should do this. Nope. Little kind of grossed out by it myself. Don't really want to show that to anybody else. Plus, I know people around here, and I'm not ready to show that either because they'll point and laugh and say, look at your boobs. So, anyway, that's not going to happen. That is a long, long way away. I want to be able to sort of look back and go, okay, I'm comfortable the way I look now, in comparison, obviously. So then I can show what I used to look like and go from there. And that way I have a nice sort of starting point and a halfway point and almost choked again, and then go that way. But throughout this week, it's been weird because I feel like I should be more excited that I'm hitting 300 mark. The 300 mark, I should say. But something, I don't know, there's something a little weird because I acknowledge it. I acknowledge that we've come a long way. 300 days in a row is pretty good to be sticking on any program, let alone one that's designed to just sort of stop us from overeating and eating bad things and everything else. We've changed our entire lives over the past year. Year's not quite done yet. But I've been thinking, when you hit that 300 mark at that stage, I know I have 65 days left. But I don't feel like I'm counting down to anything. And I think that's what the difference is. I don't feel like I'm counting down, that I'm saying, okay, well, we have 65 days left. Well, now I have 64. Now I have 63. Because as it was approaching, and I noticed this yesterday, I thought, 300, it's not a round number. I mean, it's a multiple of 100, which is fine. But I'm thinking, 250 probably should have been, a little more fanfare at that. Because, of course, the next goal that I had, it wasn't a matter of going, okay, well, 300 and then 365 and then I'm done. I'm looking ahead now at day 500. That's sort of the streak that I want to hit. On my Fitness Pal anyway, because every day that I log in, I've had to reset my login. So this is actually day 320 something probably. Or no, I think it was only a week or two ahead. Anyway, it's more than 300. But for what we're doing here, because I had to readjust everything, I deleted I'm going to say 8 days. I don't know why that sticks in my head. So this is like day 308 for me. But day 300 for what we've been trying to do. So that's my streak that is on my Fitness Pal. And so now I'm looking at it going, I want to hit that 500 mark. And I've seen some that are, 8 or I think the highest I've seen is 900 and something. I don't know. I can't remember if I've seen anything 1,000 days or more. I want to say that I have, but I don't know because I don't remember. But I think that's why I've sort of gotten to a point where I'm like, I want to acknowledge this, but I want to do something, but I don't feel like it's something that I can go, oh, yay, we're going to have a huge celebration. If you've made it 300 days, then yes, you should have a celebration of something. This has been really, really hard work all the way around. And I'm not just saying, oh, I deserve something, but everyone, if you've stuck with something for 300 days to a point where, the way that we have, And we've lost a tremendous amount of weight overall. We have gotten much, much healthier. We're starting to exercise. We've really changed our lives. And one of the weird things that normally when I would celebrate something, it wouldn't matter what it is. Like, oh, I got a new job, or I've lost my job, or something else having to do with my job. If you're celebrating, it generally would be, you know what, or if you hit a weight milestone, you're like, now I can have a cheat day, and I'm going to buy cake and everything else and try that. And I haven't. I had boiled chicken for supper last night because I thought, you know what, the 300 days thing, it's a nice milestone, but I don't feel like it's sort of a starting point or a stopping point. I don't feel like I'm counting down, because although this series is going to end at day 365 because I want to do it for a full year, I'm going to continue on after that. And I'm going to continue on with the exercising, and I want to stay on my FitnessPal. I know that I have a long way to go after this year is up. So it's strange. It's a nice little milestone, but it doesn't feel like it's, this is the last mark of 100 that we're going to make. We're gonna hit 400 and 500, and then after 500, then I think the next goal would probably be 1,000, which is a long way away. That's a 3-year plan, but I'm hoping that at the end of 3 years, if I could make it 1,000 days, that would be good. As I think at the end of 3 years, then I'd have things under control, and I don't think I need to track everything every single day the way that I have been. But who knows? I might have to keep doing it forever. And it's something that I've sort of resigned to, that I know I need to do. At least even now, I still need to do it. Even this far in, 300 days in, I still need to track absolutely everything. So no great big celebrations for this. For those of you that are out there that have hit that 300-day mark, that you've been following along, whether it's with me or with someone else, or if it's just if you've gone past us, or if you're coming up to it, whatever the situation, then yes, you should reward yourself with something, whether it's new clothes, or get yourself a new pair of shoes, or a funny hat, or whatever it is that you decide to do. I think it's interesting to note, though, that my first thought didn't go to, I'm going to have a cheat day. Because it's different now. Because like we talked about earlier on in the week, I want to keep the momentum going. I want it to be something that, I don't say, well, every 50 days, then I can have a cheat day and eat whatever I want. Because my eating habits have changed. We're eating a lot more in the way of fruits and vegetables. We're just generally eating healthier. We've cut back on salt and sugar and everything else, and way back on, regular saturated fats and stuff like that. So I want to keep that momentum going. I think part of that is just sort of accepting, okay, day 300, yay, that was fun, let's keep going. And it seems sort of, anticlimactic, because I thought that this would be something that, our 50 days, we actually did a little yay, and then 100 days, we, recognized that, and then we bumped up to 200. And so 300, you think, it's a nice round number. It's something, and it says something about, how dedicated we are to doing this. And I think, anyway, how easy it's been in comparison to what we've done before. The fact that I'm able to stick with anything this long is just, I've never done it before. And for many of us, we've never done this before. We haven't stuck with anything this long at all, except maybe our eating habits. That's something that we've stuck with because it's really, really simple to do. But changing how we react to food and how we, think about it, and where it's not sort of in the forefront every single day anymore. It's not the majority of my life anymore, which is, I think, even though I have my moments when I'm having, days where I just think, I'm just going to eat junk food, that's fine. I have my cheat days. I have my days or my weeks when I gain. I have my weeks where I'm on a plateau. I have days when I just really don't want to do the treadmill. And so, we always have good and bad days going on, but overall, the change that has happened, even just, it's 300 days is a long time. It really is. It's 10 months. But thinking back, it's weird. It's still less than a year. It's such a small amount of time compared to what we were doing before. Like, I was doing that for so many years before. And it's just, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not explaining myself very well, am I? Sorry. But, so anyway. Body shots. That's not going to happen. I really was struggling with it because I thought, I kind of want to show what I looked like before. But again, like I say, I don't see that difference in me all that much. When I'm looking in the mirror and I think, I can recognize it. I can see it now and say, okay, I know that I'm smaller than I was, but everything's still sort of all over the place the same way it was. It seems like I'm farther away from the camera. That's really the only difference that I can see. So I want to, keep working on that, and eventually I will. At some point, may not even be during this series, but at some point I'm going to have a before, a during, and an after. Like the start, halfway point, and then at the end of where I want to be. And I think even at the end, it's not going to look great, but quite honestly, it's too embarrassing to show right now. Because although, I mean, there are a lot of you that are out there that have done this. Like when you first started out, Robert started out doing that. And we've seen Boogie do that as well, that they start out and say, here's my starting point. This is what I want to change. And the incredible bravery as far as I'm concerned. It's one thing to sort of sit and talk back and forth and just have a conversation with someone, but it's a whole other thing to actually just sort of expose yourself out that way and say, you know what, I'm going to invite all the comments, I'm going to invite all the assholes that are going to start attacking me, everything. And just, I mean, because I know that feeling of self-loathing that we all have, maybe not all of us, but the majority of us that we have. And I can't imagine anything more vulnerable is the word I'm looking for, maybe. I can't imagine anything that would be worse than me standing here going, here I am, take a look, enjoy, and then, you know, sort of starting from there. And even now when I'm at my halfway point, it's still even that. I mean, I can look back at that and go, God, I was in a really rough shape. And then I look now and go, shit, I'm still in a really rough shape. In better shape. I'm still round. That doesn't really help. Round and lumpy. But in general, my frame is smaller. I'll put it that way. But it really does just sort of look like I'm just standing farther back away from the camera, which is kind of weird. But eventually at some point I will post it on the channel. I think once I get to a point where, I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point where I can go, oh, I'm happy and sexy and fancy with muscles and everything else. Because, I mean, there's going to be a lot of loose skin. You can't be 325 pounds and, you know, sort of cut your weight in half and expect everything to just sort of go right back to where it needs to be. So, I mean, I'm going to need to deal with that, but I know I need to deal with that. So I think at least with that, I can say, you know what, ignore the floppy skin everywhere, but at least I know that the fat is gone. I'll be able to, I don't know, be a little bit better. But right now, it's just something that I'm not brave enough to do yet. For all of you that are out there that have done that, fucking bravo. I simply couldn't do it at this stage, even now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a person to ever, even when I was, you know, a kid and I wasn't super, super fat. Always, if I went to the beach or a swimming pool or something, always had a t-shirt on. I don't like being naked around people. Just fucking weird. So, that makes it sound like I do that at work. It's like, I just don't like being naked at work. Everywhere else is fine. Yeah, it's fine. But I do wear pants at work, so it's okay. And I'm wearing pants now, so don't worry. Everything's good. But no, I mean, I think that's shared with a lot of people that we don't like the way that we look. And so showing other people, whether we know them or not, is just something that takes a big, big step. And although I've seen other people do it every time, it amazes me. No matter if they're starting at 200 pounds or if they're 500 pounds, it doesn't matter what the weight is. Being able to do that, I think, is one of the... Let's put this into perspective. I'm not talking about people in the army or firemen or policemen or anything else, but emotionally, I think doing that is one of the bravest things that people can do. Because it's such an exposure of yourself. Kind of came out sounding weird. It really just sort of sets everything out and say, you know what, this is inviting as many attacks as I can possibly imagine. And that's not really the attacks that I'm worried about. I mean, we've got a tremendous group of people that I've met during the 300 days that we've been on, the air, and I haven't really met anyone, aside from a couple of spam bots, which don't really count. Everyone that I've met has been really, really good. So I know that there would be a tremendous amount of support there from everybody. But it's just, So eventually, at some point, I will post my starting weight around 315. Then I have one around 250. And then once I get down to 175, I'll probably take another one. And then after that, it's simply a matter of going, all right, I need to do the best with what I have. So maybe just bunch all my loose skin up in the back and pull it tight, put a scrunchie on it, and I'll just walk around like that. That'll work. That should work, shouldn't it? I would imagine. Skin's kind of stretchy. I'll just tell people that I have a ponytail. There we go. I'll gather it to the back of my head and just sort of pull everything back that way, and there you go. Got this fucking thing nailed. Anyway, that's it for today. This is sort of a non-event for me. It's really weird. I know that I should be sort of excited and, acknowledge it a little bit more. But honestly, I know how douchey this sounds, because I thought about this before. This sounds like something that's like, oh, it's not a big deal, I just do this by myself. But it sounds like it's something that an asshole would say, but it's true. Sorry, I think that probably makes me an asshole. That when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, you know what, I've got 300 days down. I'm now looking at day 500. That's my next milestone, even more than the 400. And I know I'm going to have to do it, because I know I'm going to need to continue doing this as I go on. It's never going to be something that I'm going to be able to end. And that noise is a garbage bag that the cat is playing in. So forgive me for that. I'm going to try to edit out if you can hear it. If you can, it'll just be annoying for a little bit more. So, you know what? I'm going to cut this one short. Of all the days for us to have one over 20 minutes, this would be it. If you've been following along and you're at, a milestone of your own, definitely go and reward yourself. We think a little bit differently now, so it's probably not going to be something where you're going to go, I'm going to go and have all you can eat cupcakes for the entire day. But buy yourself something, or go do something that you've wanted to do. It doesn't have to cost money or anything, but even if you say, you know what, I'm going to take $100 and just go spend it on useless shit, a toy that I want at some point. I'm going to buy, those are really cool. They're expensive, but they're well worth it. I recommend you buy the moment you can. Oh, that reminds me. I was going to cut this one short. That does remind me. I do think I might get a Fitbit at some point. Not for, I want to keep track and make sure that I'm making however many steps per day. I'm curious as to how many steps I want to make, but that might be something that would be a reward for me, so that it's the badge gathering thing. I know this sounds really weird, but in my head I'm thinking, ooh, this is like an achievement. I can get a Fitbit. I'm very curious to see, because as it continues on, it'll say, well, you walked around Egypt, or you've walked to Japan, which doesn't make any sense because it's surrounded by water, or you've walked around the world. All those things that you can, like all the little badges, it's weird. I don't even know how they work. I've never used one. I know people that have one. I don't know if it's synced up. I know some people that have them, and it's that sort of pretentiousness that goes along with it that I'm trying to avoid. But I kind of want it just for my own curiosity. I don't think it would be something that I would keep posting or anything like that. Just so I can say, ooh, look, I walked this many and I've done this much, and keep going that way. Because I think it would be a very long-term thing to take me up to day 500 and maybe more. After 500, I think it would be 1,000. And anyway, I don't want to lose my streak, so I got to keep doing that. But anyway, that was it. Completely unrelated. So no nudie pics. Sorry. Happy 300, I guess, is probably the best thing to do. And I know this sounds really corny, but I really hope we're doing 300 more. I know that I'm going to have to continue on with my fitness pal, and I know I'm going to continue on with the treadmill and the weight loss and everything else. I'm thinking it's a very long road ahead of us. But you've made it this far, and it is a substantial milestone. You should be proud of going this long. I mean, and especially the changes that you've made. That might be something to look at too. I know I say this a lot, but go back and look at where you were on day one. I have gone back and looked at my very first video, which is terrible, by the way. A lot of them in the early one, well, even now, some of them are pretty kind of bad. But just looking, I can see the difference that way. So go back, look at some old pictures from a year ago, and even though you may not see a tremendous difference now, you will see something. And overall, we're eating better, we're exercising, we're doing well. Just in general, we're doing so much better than we were a year ago. And even if from here on in it was simply maintenance for a lot of you, then that's still a healthy lifestyle, and that's what we're aiming for. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here, because otherwise I'm going to start repeating myself all over again and leave. Yep, we're getting to 20 minutes. So I'm going to leave this here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.